Welcome to European Railway, the video magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this programme we travel to the junction station at Amberieu, on the main line from Lyon and onwards into Italy. A survey of mainline activity in central Portugal, diesel action around Hungary's Lake Balaton, motive power variety on the outskirts of the German city of Duisburg, part 1 of our feature on the railway north of Eindhoven. Diesel and electric activity on the French mainline out of Caen, and finally German mainline action to the northeast of Bremen. Amberieu is situated on the western extremities of the main line that connects France with Italy and Switzerland. It is rich in motive power variety, together with a good mixture of freight, local and long-distance passenger services. Lines to the north work their way up to Bourg-en-Bresse, whilst to the southwest they extend down to the city of Lyon. In the easterly direction tracks lead to Geneva and Chambéry. Freight activity contributes to a sizable proportion of the traffic to be seen. Most of it runs into the nearby yard, whilst en route to other destinations further afield. Locomotive 7202 arrives with a working from the direction of Lyon. Behind the first two wagons are recently withdrawn coaches, on their way to a local scrap dealer. On a service to Chambéry is dual voltage electric number 25172. All station stopping services are normally in the hands of these Z7500 electric units. New TER2N Caradia 3-car electric units have also been introduced to the area. Here set number 359 arrives from Lyon. Class 26,000 electrics are usually seen on freight services in these parts, with trains to and from the various yards at Lyon out to the border station at Modane. Now withdrawn from traffic, Class BB 9600 number 9622 shunt stock after arriving with the 1607 service from Lyon Perrache. BB 36000 tri-voltage electrics are common on freight services, working many of the trains destined for Italy over the Modane route. This is 36356. Class 63,000 diesels work the local yard. Many are still in their original green livery, such as seen here with 63682. The station sees a good number of stopping services, especially in the morning and evening peak periods, where commuters pack the trains on their way to and from Lyon. This is the 1723 from Lyon-Perrache, a train which will go forward calling at most intermediate stations to Chambéry. Dual voltage 22237 heads east. At this time of day, trains were arriving and departing at around 5-minute intervals. No stranger to UK enthusiasts, Eurocargo Rail Class 66, number 66246, comes off the Bourges-en-Bresse line and heads for Lyon. On the rear of this train is the sole surviving example of Class 25-200 in original green livery. The loco number 25236 has been intentionally left in this livery by SNCF for historic purposes, and as such the loco attracts a celebrity status. Number 26211 hauls classmate number 26187 on this mixed freight from Lyon. In the end, our filming came to an abrupt halt because of the weather. In this view, 3 different liveries adorn these units as they arrive through the downpour with a train from Evian. The principal main electrified line in Portugal links Porto in the north to the capital Lisbon in the south. Journey times between the two are typically around 3 hours. The line runs through the central part of the country via the important junction town of Entroncamento, which we briefly visit during our journey south. Our first stop is just to the southwest of the principal town of Coimbra, at a village station at Amberieu. Leaving the station with a southbound working is a Class 2240 electric unit. These units are the mainstay of local services on this line, being modernised versions of the Class 2100 and 2200 electric units. The units date from the mid-1980s. Following shortly behind is Class 5600 electric number 5602 on a Porto to Lisbon intercity service. In the opposite direction is seen this track maintenance machine. The line here follows the route of the river Mondego, before veering south along the valley of the river Arunza. Freight traffic in Portugal is very light, with the railways only having a 4% share of the country's entire freight transport market. Heading south is 2506 and 2568, the leading loco dating from as far back as 1956. On the outskirts of Coimbra, locomotive number 1962, a Bombardier-built diesel, looks a little worse for wear as it heads this block cement train from Mazira. Just south of Entroncamento now, and the Pendolino set 4005 heads south on a working for Lisbon. Some of the heaviest freight trains in Portugal are imported coal workings between the port of Sines to the power station at Pigu. Here 5627 and 5626 head a set of southbound empties. Finally, electric number 2629 departs with train IC 543 from Lisbon to Coimbra. Moving south again now, and we are at the junction station at Setil, as Pendolino number 4001 heads north. In these parts, white storks will nest on anything that resembles a tree, hence the spinning cups on the top of the posts. There is a three-way junction here, with the line on the right connecting with the route to the south which avoids the city of Lisbon. Intercity and local services through this station run at hourly intervals. Taking the northern spur is this class 5600 electric on a container train bound for Entroncamento.
Senhores passageiros, o comboio regional procedente de Castelo Branco, com destino a Lisboa, Santa Apolónia, vai entrar na linha número 2. Efetua paragens em Reguengo, Virtudes, Azambuja, Vila Franca de Xira e Lisboa Oriente. Obrigada pela vossa atenção.
Finally, we see the 2200 departure from the Spanish city of Irun, as 2609 powers the train on the last part of its overnight run to Lisbon. In this section we look at Hungarian diesel activity from the summer of 2006, seen on the lines that radiate to the south and east of Tapolca. To the west of Balaton-Győrök, M41-2211 is seen on a Pécs to Seldermalk working. At Balaton-Rendes is M41-2143, seen in original livery on a train for Budapest. To the south of Sumeg is the junction for the single-track freight line to Utso, which diverges off the main passenger line from Tapolca. Here we see a Bismot diesel unit hauling 2 trailer cars on a service to Zeldermalk. After remarshalling its train in the station, number 2208 departs south for Tapolca. The failure of the rostered M41 diesel led to this incredibly rare working of a Class M40 loco. Just a handful of these engines are left in traffic, working short trip freights, where their ability to handle heavy loads is popular with train crews. Number M4302 is the locomotive that has been pressed into service. Next to Lake Balaton, this Class M41 is all but ignored by the local fishermen. Finally, as the evening sun dips towards the horizon, M41-2211 leaves Sumeg as it powers its train south. The massive freight complex situated north of Duisburg at Oberhausen is notoriously difficult to photograph, with few public vantage points. One of just a few locations to the southwest of Oberhausen Yard is at Meidrecht Ost, on a local line extending west towards Duisburg docks. Passenger services on the line are privately operated by Vogtlandbahn using Siemens Regio Sprinter DMUs. This is a westbound service. Freight traffic absolutely dominates these lines, with huge tonnages being moved on a daily basis. Crossing the Rhine-Herne Canal is 152-145. Heading south, there is a 4-track freight railway linking Oberhausen with Duisburg. This line sees an incredible amount of locomotive variety, such as in this view of RAG-operated diesel number 829, a Type G1206, leased from Angel Trains Cargo. The locomotive heads a southbound coal train across the bridge that takes the line over the river Rhur. In the opposite direction, Adtrans Class 145 number 203, also operated by RAG, runs north and is itself passed by a DB Class 232. Although we use only one vantage point for this feature, action here is literally non-stop, with over 16 trains seen in just 40 minutes. In this view, DBs 225, 016 and 015 head south light engine. Much of the freight seen is steel-related products from the various manufacturing plants situated to the south of the city. Number 185085 trundles north. Shortly after, 232003 is powering this train of steel plate. RAG Type E1200 centre cab electric, number 017, a locomotive built by Heinzel in 1984, is yet another example of the sheer variety of motive power to be seen in the area. Finally, Eisenbahn und Hafen operated Vossloh G1206 diesel, number 546, is yet another example of a private operator working on this part of the DB network. If you are ever in the area, the lines around Oberhausen and south towards Duisburg are well worth a visit. The main line north of Eindhoven towards the junction at Boxtel is 4-track. As such, it is a busy stretch of railway line with numerous passenger services as well as international freight operating to and from Venlo and the busy port of Rotterdam. This is the first of a two-part feature beginning here north of Eindhoven at the suburban town of Best. Here we see 4-car regio runner set number 9409 powering north on a service for Utrecht. Unit 827 passes by 5 minutes later on a stopping service for Eindhoven. Plan T 4-car electric units are similar to Plan V 2-car units, which we saw in our previous sequence. The Plan Ts were introduced between 1961 and 1965 when a total of 31 were built. They are now at the end of their working lives, and 8 sets are scheduled for withdrawal during 2008. This is set 508 on a working to Tilburg West. The other type of passenger train to be seen are loco and coaches formations. Here number 1759 is in charge of an Eindhoven to Schiphol service. We now move to the town of Boxtel, just 7 kilometres north, where the lines west to Breda and north to Utrecht diverge. A container train for Rotterdam is overtaken by an intercity service for Amsterdam. The coaches used in this train are the standard intercity design dating from the 1980s. There are around 235 of these vehicles still in traffic, including 32 of the driving trailers. One of two operated by the German company Rhur, Vossloh G2000 diesel number V202, is seen on a container train for Rotterdam. Moving to the west of Boxtel on the line to Tilburg and Breda, number 6606 heads a Sunday container working for Rotterdam. Local haul trains on this line operate on services between Venlo and Den Haag, using ex-German passenger stock. Number 1749 heads into the evening sun. Finally, under threatening skies, unit number 917 forms a local service for Tilburg West. In the second part of this series, we look again at services in this popular train watching area. The line from Paris to Caen is part of a 371-kilometre route to Cherbourg. We take a look at current rail activity between the towns of Mézidon in the west to Bernay in the east. At Mézidon there is a junction with the line that heads south to Argentan and on eventually towards Tours. This line remains non-electrified and is operated by new AGC DMUs such as this X76500 unit, seen in rather blustery conditions heading north near Vignes. There is a large stone quarry at Vignes which generates several train loads each day. Here, Eurocargo Rails Class 66 number 66029 heads a loaded northbound train. East of Mézidon now, and we are on the Paris to Cherbourg line proper. Another AGC diesel unit on a service from Rouen passes the site of the former station at Mesnil-Morges. The electric version of the X76500 diesel units is the Z27500. This one forms a local service for Les Eaux. Electrification of the line was completed in 1996, when BB 26000 and BB 16000 electrics were introduced on the intercity services. This is 26025. Introduced in 2007 were Class 15000 electrics displaced from services to Luxembourg and eastern France by TGVs operating on the new LGV Est high-speed line. 15032 heads the 1424 from Caen to Paris-Saint-Lazare. The line through to Caen was finally opened in 1855 after setting out from Paris in 1837. The route was known for using the post-World War II American-built SNCF Class 141R steam locos, as well as gas turbine RTG trains from September 1970. East of Lisbon is Tapolca. Here we see the 1641 from Caen to Paris behind 15053. A new stretch of line was built around Tapolca in order to increase line speeds by easing out some of the old curves. On the new formation, 26025 heads east. In the opposite direction, 26227 is seen in Corel plus livery. The old line used to run in front of the farm buildings, seen in the distance. Intercity haul passenger trains are frequent along this route, especially in the morning and evening peak periods. Typically 4 or 5 an hour are common. This is 16039. We now move to the western outskirts of Bernay. The evening sun glints off the side of 15043 as it heads west while a Class BB 26000 passes by in the other direction. The BB 16000s are now starting to be withdrawn, and so sights such as this will gradually become a rarity. The sun is really beginning to set over 16031 as it heads west. Finally, 16055 rounds the curve as we say goodbye to this fascinating main line in northwestern France. Rothenburg is a junction town on the main line between Bremen and Hamburg and sees a good mixture of freight and passenger traffic. To the east of Rothenburg, the line is 3-track, and it is along this stretch that we begin our programme. On 20th of May 2003, locomotive number 110328 heads north with an overnight train for Hamburg. Here 185009 heads south at just after 7:30 in the morning. One 102 heads north with an overnight sleeping car train from Munich to Hamburg. As can be seen, this train is formed of Talgo-style coaching style. German operator EVB works some container trains between Hamburg and Bremen. This is locomotive number 62201, which is XDB's 232103. At Rothenburg station itself, 110377 restarts a local service for Hamburg. This was in the final few months before these services were taken over by the private company Metronom, which began operations in December 2003. German track maintenance company HF Wiebe operates all over the country. Here X212107, now renumbered as Wiebe number 4, heads south. This was followed by DB's 363830. Simply storming by in the other direction comes 101098. There is a daily coal train from Hamburg to a power station near Minden. Here 290001 is in charge of the loaded train at just after 10:30 in the morning. We now move forward to September 2007, as this intercity express passes through the station whilst heading north for Hamburg. We travel 9 kilometres northeast now and to the station at the small town of Schietzel. Number 185231 hurries north with containers for Hamburg. A change from the traction seen a few years ago, in that 101-108 is now in charge of the overnight sleeper service to Munich. The train runs south via Bremen and Hanover. Finally, like most main lines in Germany, there's always plenty of locomotive variety on offer, in this case in the form of 155056. As we close, we would like to thank you once again for watching this edition of European Railway.